Hey, it's DJ with Tales from a Gemini. My guest today again is Maddi Patterson, and she's got a secret she's going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's a really big secret. It deals with racing and women, and I'm sure you're going to like it. So enjoy the secret I'm about to tell you with Maddi Patterson.
Maddi, 10 years. 10 years of me doing yoga, right? Swear to God, over 10 years doing yoga religiously. And I blow out my back tying my shoe. I've been down tying my shoe. Yeah, and that's been like a month. Seriously, a month ago. So much for that yoga. Anyway, hey, it's BT with Tales from a Gemini. Let me tell you something. I'm going to toot my own horn here by saying I am a great friend because I had a secret. And somebody said, listen, don't put this out there, but blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay. I said, but when it blows up, you're going to be on the show. And she said, yeah. And I said, okay. And I sat on this secret like somebody, like a guy from the mob named, you don't tell nobody or you sleep with the fishes. So I didn't tell nobody. And I sat on this secret and I sat on this secret. And you know what? I didn't go to jail. And right now I got the person who's going to tell you all about what that secret I was holding. And that is Maddi Patterson. How you doing, Maddi?
I'm so good. How are you?
I am ecstatic for one because I know I'm talking to the future Toto Wolff. I'm kind of letting the cat out of the bag, but she is about to be the new Toto Wolff of the racing paddock. Let's put it that way. She is about to be the head person in charge. Maddi, just tell us a secret, please. Just tell us a secret.
Head person in charge. I think that's a great title.
I mean, you really are. You're going to be the head person in charge, and I can't think of a person who just encompasses leadership like you do. And I mean that. I mean, everything about you is you're direct, you're blunt, but not blunt where you go, you know what? You talk to me like that one more goddamn time. I mean, the kind of blunt where you go, okay, and you're all listening and you're going, okay, and you can lead people. And I mean that. You lead people because just the way you are as a person. So enough further ado, please tell the people the secret.
Thank you. I am very, very, very pleased to announce that this year, my motorcycle racing team, Sekhmet International Motorcycle Racing Team, will be competing in the inaugural Women's Motorcycling World Championship with Lizzie Whitmore and Mallory Dobbs.
Congratulations. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate this whole show because, for one, I have to say devil's advocate, but for one, because you know me, and I hate when men say I'm a feminist. That's the new thing with male comics here. I don't know how it is over there, but male comics go, "Oh, I'm a feminist," and I hate that shit more than anything. I'm more of a tough love feminine. I'm all for, you know, you've seen my show. I had women racers on, and I support everything you guys do. I mean, I might talk a good game or whatever, but I'm all about the women's movement and everything else, and I think this is great. But why do you think having a women's international world championship is important as opposed to people saying, well, you know, you have people like Maria Herrera and Anna Carrasco who race with the men, and actually Anna won a championship. So why is the need for a women's world championship?
Yeah, I think this is a question that I've seen occur across the internet for quite a few months now before this championship was launched. And I get it. I do understand why people are skeptical and hesitant, and I understand that. But looking at this championship, I think those people have to say to themselves, there's a few different angles here that are important. First of all, we know that people feel safe in their communities. Motorsport generally is not a large community of female racers. So we know that. So this championship actually allows for women of a similar class and a similar level to compete against one another. So that's point one. Point two, I think this championship's entry point in terms of the cost is, as a new team, particularly, who has greater goals that exceed the World Superbike paddock in the coming years, where does someone like me get a start? These are the kind of questions you have to ask yourself. I always wanted to be in motorsport. I always wanted to do this, not necessarily run a team. That wasn't always my first thought, but I always knew that this was going to be my future. And how would someone like me get an opportunity to have a future like this without this championship? This is also my start. This is my platform. So I think those are kind of the ways that you have to look at it. I also think that because there's such a minority of women in the mixed classes, they kind of tend to get picked on if they come more than 10th, right? We know that Anna Carrasco, for example, hasn't actually had the best track run in Moto3. And Maria Herrera might finish, more than 10th a couple of times a season. And people inherently dislike them. And rather than criticize them on their skill, sometimes they'll just criticize them for being women. But actually, what's fantastic about the Women's World Championship is it's a very equal playing field in terms of skill and ability. Mm-hmm. When the visor goes down, you have to ask yourself when you're watching the race, do you care that they're women, or do you just like really good motorcycle racing? Because that's what you're here to watch. That's what this is at the end of the day. It's just another class. Yes, it's dedicated to women, but ultimately, when that visor's down, nobody cares if they're women or not. You're watching a race. They're racers. That's what matters. So that's kind of my response to that. And I do understand people's hesitation, particularly when we look at things like the W Series and some other female dedicated sports or series in sports. They've really struggled. And I think what I've noticed about this championship so far is that realistically, the motorcycling community tends to be actually quite patient and tolerant, I think might be a very good word, of new things. We haven't heard a lot of noise from Dorna about this championship. Okay, the marketing behind it's been very, very quiet, and a lot of it will come to the teams, and there's a reason for that. They don't want it to fail the way that other series have. Even the way that they're speaking about the races, they're calling them what they are, athletes, racers. We're not leading with this sort of pink feminist movement. It's not really about that. It is about giving a minority community in sport an opportunity to be seen on an equal playing field against their equals. And I think that the opportunity with the Women's World Championship will lead to further opportunities in racing. I don't think by any means it's the final destination for women in the sport.
Now, who's running the Women's World Championship? Like, is it a man? And I don't know if it makes a difference, but sometimes representation does make a difference, because if it's a woman running it, she kind of knows how, to talk to people and how, and like you said, like it's a championship, it's a racing championship, but maybe certain language or whatever gets by, a woman would see that different than a man would see it. So is it a man running it, or is it a woman running it? And are there women on the board who say, hey, listen, you can't say that, say they're racist. Like you said, say they're athletes, which I think that's things I'm not gonna lie, there's things I wouldn't pick up until you just said that. Athletes, like, yes, they're athletes, and I didn't get that. So who's running it?
I mean, I think the series itself has been run by Dorna in conjunction with the FIM. The FIM Women's Commission has put an incredible amount of work into this. Yannicka Yu, who's the president of the Women's Commission, has done a lot of work in terms of how we view our athletes in this sport period, because I think people hear Women's Commission and they go, oh, it's all women and it's just females and no one cares, when actually the Women's Commission exists for all people. It is the sort of authority within the FIM on, accessibility, visibility, making sure that minorities are heard and seen in this sport. And the reality is we within it might not see ourselves as minorities, but only 21% of the viewing audience is not male. So in actual fact, we are. And that's okay. But how do we increase that viewership, and how do we make women of all nationalities feel welcome in the sport? So I know that the FIM Women's Commission has done an incredible amount of work. On Dorna's side, the onboarding has been led by two people, Olga Yates and David Bosser. David is the head of business development in World Superbike, and Olga is the sporting and talent person. And she's put a lot of effort into this. We've had many phone calls and many emails. But I think in terms of our riders, you only need to look at who's been accepted into this championship. Emily Bondi, for example, out of France, she's been mentored by the likes of Xavier Simeon for years now.
Wow.
So when you look at our championship and you look at our racers who have been brought into this championship, it's definitely a team effort across the board. And I, for one, am so proud to look at that entry list with such an amazing mix. That has to be the most mixed group of nationalities in motorcycle racing on the international stage right now. It is incredible. And there's been so much mentorship throughout this from people like Xavi Simeon and others. And that's amazing. That really is amazing, because it does wonderful things for people like him and myself who, as you know, I've done my time in national paddocks as well. I've worked in BSB, I've worked in Australian Superbikes, I've worked with young athletes, managed their sponsorship, got them overseas, helped them live a life as a young person as well as an athlete. And for us, this is quite a rewarding experience.
Now, do you get any pushback from women sometimes? Because sometimes women don't support other women, and that always pisses me off. But it's like anything else. It's like, I think sometimes they feel like, oh, we don't need this, we're just as good as men, and they might just try to distance themselves from this. So have you gotten any pushback at all from women?
Yeah, absolutely. Funnily enough, it's always from other people's parents, which is always interesting. And there is naturally going to be pushback. But I have to say, again, if you're pushing back against a championship, that is just a championship, it's just a class, do you care that they're women, or do you just want to watch good motorcycle racing? Because again, once that visor's down, yeah. A, you can't tell, right? B, it's a race. Why do you care what the sex of the person on the bike is? And that's really what this championship is about. It's about challenging perceptions. It's about creating visibility and opportunities.
You know, you said something earlier, and I want to let you talk though. Is that whenever any of the women race, when I watched Anna race, when I watched Maria, I actually was looking for them and rooting for them more than anybody, because I was like, I really did. I wanted them to win more than anybody, or get points more than anybody, because I just felt that I know how it is to be that minority within the majority, and so I pulled for them more. And Maria always got points in Moto E. She always got points, and she was always up there. But my whole thing was, and I might be straying away a little bit from the World Championship, was that I always felt like how they did in pack racing. And don't get me wrong, not everybody is a pack race. Pack racing is dangerous. So I was always wondering, like, was there a difference between pack racing with women, or do they have that kind of aggressiveness? We know when they're racing. Is that a word? I made that word up. I make a lot of words up. Well, but you know what I mean. Are they just as aggressive as a man when it comes to push comes to shove, or are they going to throw that elbow out and do what they have to do to win?
Rubbing's racing. That's all I have to say. Okay. I think, I'll give you a really great example of it, right? Lizzie Whitmore, who races for me now. Yes. Lizzie's a road racer by trade, right? She races things like Oliver's Mound. She's tough as nails.
Yes, she is.
I don't think she's scared to be in a pack in a circuit race. I don't think any of these athletes are scared to be in a pack in a circuit race. I don't think that's a bother to them. I think, actually quite a few people have reached out to me and gone, shit, I can't say you have great balls of fire because you don't have balls. I'm like, thank you. That is true. I don't. But they recognize suddenly that this is so cool. The fact that these athletes are willing to go, yeah, I'm just as capable, which they are, put themselves out on the world stage and actually have a go of it and make a good time of it. Absolutely. I don't see what the hesitation is. And I mean, if we're talking about technicalities, and physicalities, like for the most part, women tend to be lighter than men. So I expect that they'll go fast. More than that, the R7's heavier than a MotoGP bike.
Wow.
So that'll be quite interesting to watch too. I mean, this concept that women can't race MotoGP or this, that, and the other, it's total bullshit, because the bike's heavier. If you can pick up an R7, you could probably ride a prototype bike. Yeah. I don't see why that wouldn't be possible. And that's why this championship, again, is important, because it will create pathways to things like the CEV Moto2 championship in Europe. It'll create things like pathways to super sport classes in World Superbike. I think the challenge in this sport is always getting a seat that's comfortable and reliable, right, in a team. And that's what people and athletes of all categories struggle with. And that's something that I was very, very proud of when I started this project. The outcomes for my team, all of my staff, were important to me. Everybody has a place on this team and they're paid to be here. I'm not taking money from anyone to run this team outside of our sponsors and our business. We're a business. That's our job. And again, it comes back to giving people a sense of pride in their work. It comes back to giving people a place where they belong. And it also means that they're motivated to do really, really well. And that's what creates good racing.
How does it feel with having the title boss? I know team principal, whatever. I mean, honestly, to know that you are the one in charge. I mean, when you walk in the paddock, all eyes are going to be on you. It's like Tupac, all eyes on me. So it's going to be all eyes on you when you walk. You're going to be the one that represents the team. You're going to be the one that go, hey, that's the person you want to talk to right there. You're the one. I mean, how does that feel? I mean, with just knowing that everything relies on you. It's on your shoulders. You're the one that's going to be successful with this team.
I tell you what, on the lead up to announcing this, everything was perfect, right? I had not stuffed up on a single thing. The fact that I am like an Argus, the fact that I had kept this a secret for 8 or 9 months. Yeah. Do you know how hard that was for me?
You know how it was for me for me not to say anything too? I was like, what is it? BT, don't tell me. I was like, all right. So yeah.
But everything had been perfect up until the launch, except for the tweet. I'd had a little typo in the tweet. I was like, damn it, but everything else was fine. But it was a really interesting conversation between myself and my business partner, Dennis Baddeley, and we were discussing how we're going to announce this. I said, I want to tell the true story. And he's like, you have to remember something, Maddi, which is you're like one of 0.5% of female team owners in the world across motorsports, maybe. Like that's just across world racing, you're not one of many. So let's not be off the rails. And I was like, oh, okay. And I went to bed that night and I was having like the biggest knots in the pit of my stomach. And I was like, oh shit, I was like, oh, what have I done? I've got myself into her. And it's so funny. You do have those moments of like complete and utter self-doubt, total stress. I was like, what have I done? And I had to sit down and look at our business plan and where we're going to be in the next year, 18 months, 5 years. And I was like, nah, stuff it. You've worked too hard to be scared. Just hit send. And I hit send and my phone and my computer went off like a frog in a sock. And I've never been so humbled and grateful and so thrilled with the work that we've done. And our team. Our team is just, I'm so proud of us. I'm proud of all the work that we've put into this to get this here. And it's only just beginning. The hard work has started now. So I think that was quite realizing that my why was always I'm creating the opportunities that don't exist for everyone in my team. Mechanics, my marketing and sales assistant, press officer, myself, my business partner, my racers. That was my why. That came about through friendships and all sorts of things and the people I love and care about. And I had that realization like, okay, I did that. Now I've got to like steer this ship. And that's quite daunting. And I'm not a stranger. I'm not a stranger in the place that I work and I live and what I've created. But it's really rewarding to have a team kind of come together in the way that you envisioned it.
Man, that just warms my heart because honestly, down deep inside, one of my goals in life is to win the lottery, and if I do, I want to be a team owner for a Moto3 team. I mean, because I just think to mold those kids, when they're 18, 19, to mold them and have made champions, whatever, and watch them grow. I just want to be the one that I'm they're the clay and I mold them. Then they grow, and spread out and they go away. But I want to be the one that and that's always want to be a Moto3 team owner. So hearing you talk, it's like, oh, I love it. I'm soaking it in. Now I'm thinking about just quitting comedy and joining you and being your flunky so I can sit by you and then be the Black Christian Horner, and then just
come with us for the whole year. The door is open. You're welcome to come with us.
I don't know if your husband would like me sleeping in a van. I mean, I'll eat the pizza, but I don't know if all three of us he's
not going to be there. So I sat down with Simon and we looked at our calendars for the year ahead. We're going to see each other about 12 times this year, maybe. Yeah. Because this is in the World Superbike paddock. And he's in MotoGP.
Yeah, well, make him feel real well. Hey, look, man, I'll be with your wife. So you go to MotoGP, and me and your wife will travel in the van and eat pizza together. So have a good time, Simon. And he'll be like, what?
Okay. I don't think I need a babysitter. It's okay. You're welcome. You can come along.
Man, don't tempt me with a good time, because you know me. I always said that, honestly, World Superbike, period, is great racing. I mean, as far as the racing, it's just good. It's MotoGP. Yeah. I mean, it's, but MotoGP is MotoGP. But World Superbike is a great place to be. And I just think with this addition to this women's series, I think it's going to be awesome. And I always said that if you don't look at the news, it's a better time. I mean, the time is right now, and it's just beautiful. I mean, what the USA is doing with the ride, train, race with the Royal Enfield, you guys are doing with this, and I love. And I was want to know, who do you look at as your like blueprint, or the person that you I know, like, kind of maybe model yourself after, or who you're gonna call when things go bad and go,
I have to say, this process has brought me has introduced me to so many people. I think within the MotoGP paddock, this was no secret. The people that needed to know I was doing this knew that I was doing this. And as a result of that, it brought me to people like Freddie Spencer. And anyone listening to this will probably go watch, because, I was also a journalist at one time. It brought me to BTR in Moto America. Alexandra Catty and I have developed an amazing friendship throughout this experience. And she's actually kind of that person that I call and go, oh my God, like, can I just get your thought on this? Or what do you think about this? Or, we were working together with BTR as well. I mean, through our agency, we're looking for ways to work together in the future to help that series off its feet even further. So for me, it's been launching two businesses at once, meeting a plethora of people who up until this point were really inaccessible to me, and actually having the support from inside the paddock, especially at MotoGP level and World Superbike level. It's been so rewarding. But I think at the end of the day, the person who I turn to most is always going to be my business partner, Dennis Baddeley. DB used to be the head of marketing for Suzuki MotoGP in the 2000s. Mm-hmm. He's worked with Abrath, Yamaha. He's done the work. And he is just this creative and commercial genius. And we are very aligned on why we're doing this. When it comes to what we're modeling our team off of, we kind of break the mold. I think you'll start to see that develop through our social media. What's really important to me is I get to come to work and laugh. I actually want to like my job. I want to love my job. I want to feel good about my work.
That's what I do every time I go to work. That's my job.
Exactly. And I think, towards the end of last year, or maybe the beginning of last year, I'd found my work a little bit stale as a journalist. And after we chatted in like June or July of last year, do you remember I said to you, just watch what happens next?
Yes.
Give me 6 steps. This was what I was working on at that time.
Look at this. See? Look at that. Always got a plan. Always thinking of something.
Always hustling. But that was, like I said, I started the team for a reason and with purpose. It was to give opportunities to the people I care about. I've been able to do that. And I want to be different. I don't want to send a press release that's boring to read. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I like to poke the bear. We're here to win respect. We're here to respect our competitors, to race against them, and to also poke the bear, because it's really fun. And you should. There's no reason why you shouldn't. People want to have fun.
Well, I tell you what, last night I followed both your accounts on my Instagram, Tales from a Gemini, and my BT account. I followed your race team, and on X, which is formerly Twitter. I'm following you and everything. I'm so into you guys. I am so into you. And I really think that being with WSBK is actually, in a way, it's kind of better, because what they know, and it's no disrespect at all. They know they're like, it's GP here and they're here. So they do things a little more fun. Like, man, the paddock is a party in WSBK. It really is. I mean, it is a party. So with Michael Hill doing what he does, when the riders win, they get to the podium and they come around the red carpet and the crowd is there. It's a party. And I think when those girls win and they go on that podium and they're coming through the crowd and they're going to get high fives, it's just going to make it that much better. I think that's the right series to be with is WSBK because they're going to celebrate it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be new. And Michael Hill knows how to bring that party, fun atmosphere out of him. You're going to see with Lissy's great personality, and and Mallory is a little more crazy than you think she is. She's funny also in her own little way. So I just think it's going to be just awesome, and I'm glad it is WSBK, probably rather than MotoGP. You know what I mean?
I think it's the right place for this. I also think that World Superbike is very accessible, and I think that's the difference here. And again, when we're thinking about when we use terms like diversity, women in sport, accessibility is a key part of that.
Yes.
When we think about minority groups, and I think World Superbike has nailed that. And I think that's reflected also in the entry list. That is the definition of a global sport. That is what a global sport should be. And I think the entry list, given, what was it, 18 nationalities from 24 countries is phenomenal. And I think that poses as a challenge now to other championships in motorcycle racing, world championships, to say, hey, if a new championship can make pathways that didn't exist, no matter how murky the water has been, because it's not been a very clear set path, believe me, but if they can do that, then why are we not doing this in other parts of our sport as well? So you're right, World Superbike is a great home for what we're doing.
Now, who are some of the names that are going to be racing? I mean, I know them because I'm a dork, and I absorb everything. So I follow everybody on Instagram because I'm just that type of weirdo. I'm just a freak, a racing freak, and everybody goes, yeah, we know. So to anybody else, who is racing? Who's actually going to be in this series?
I would hardly call you a freak. Well, I mean, the obvious one is Anna Carrasco, isn't it? She's coming back to race this series. I think. She's very well known. I think people will be surprised at what happens with Anna in this series, because I do think this series will be harder than people imagine it to be. There's Taylor Ralph from Australia, which is fantastic. I'm so pleased for her. Taylor's been the what is it? Social media manager at Phillip Island Circuit for a couple of years now. She, in her own right, is a journalist. She's worked TV and radio in Australia as well. And she's a very capable motorcycle rider who is self-funding herself to do this. And I think that, again, shows a little bit of Australian tenacity. And it's great to be represented like that. I think for both Taylor and myself, it's really nice to know that there's a couple of Australians walking around saying, "G'day, how are you?" So I'm very pleased for her. I'm very proud of her. There's Emily Bondi, who I'd mentioned before, who's been mentored by Xavier Simeon. I'm very pleased for her, and I know that Xavi has. You get this sense with rider coaches and rider mentors and team managers like myself and others. We would do anything to defend our riders, and he talks about her so confidently for the person she is and her capability as a rider as well. So I'm actually really excited to see her out on track, because I think she'll be good competition on and off track in the best way. So there's some great names in there. I think, Mallory is going to be one to watch. I really believe that, not just because I'm her team manager, but I think being able to race Super Hooligans,
yes,
which is a big, bulky, backside of a bike. I think she's sort of towards the topper end of this, and I think she'll surprise people. No pressure, Mal, if you're listening. And obviously I've got Lizzie Whitmore, who I just adore. First of all, she reminds me of a bottle of champagne. You know, when you open the bottle of champagne and the bubbles go everywhere? That's
Yes.
Lizzie to a T.
Yes.
She's just so northern, so happy-go-lucky. She's
Love
a
her.
great ambassador for our sport. And
Yes.
again, her background is she's from Rhodes. I think people will be surprised at what she can bring because she's from Rhodes, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
And what's great about her is I think she had quit for a little bit because she wasn't enjoying herself. And now to see her back being her old self racing, that's what I think what this series has done. I think Anna was going to retire too, and this came. And there's another racer from Norway that I was going to have on the show. She said she was going to be retired, and now she's racing. So this is just breathing life into everything, which I think is just odd. And I think every series, I mean, with Moto America, they're going to have the Bagger series. With Moto GP comes Dakota, which I think is great. And now you have this. And I just think this is going to be so awesome to watch because people's careers are going to be pretty much over. And this is breathing new life into them and giving them a little pep in their step. And I just think this is going to be. And do you remember that journalist from Hungary? She's a MotoGP journalist.
Nikki Kovacs.
Is she? Man, I hate to say her, but is she like a little to race? Because I mean, she was an accomplished racer, and she went to Qatar, and she placed in there was a division I forget. She told me because she was on the show, and I'm thinking, can you coax her back into racing? Because I think she'd be a great racer.
I remember when it was announced, I didn't ask her, but you know when you're looking at someone, and I was like, I wonder if that's what she's thinking. I love Nikki. Nikki is I would consider Nikki a friend of mine. We speak pretty regularly, and I get along with her very, very well. Again, I think the other thing with this championship is it is new. So despite all the effort that we're putting in, we all still have to prove ourselves. So there's still a long, long way to go with all of that. But I think, yeah, you're right. This championship brings life back. And again, it comes back to what the FIM Commission is doing right now, which is how can we keep women engaged with this sport? Because they tend to be, there's this misconception, right, that women get more sponsorship because they're women. And it's just fundamentally not true. Actually, it's much harder because there is this inherent skepticism. You're a minority, which doesn't necessarily mean that you get most of the spotlight or, you know, you have all of the support and capability. So I think this championship has done wonders in terms of women being able to go out and say, actually, I'm on the world stage. I am a world championship rider. So if you're not looking at me seriously for sponsorship endeavors, what are you doing? Because again, when the visor goes down, nobody actually cares if they're women. You just want to watch good racing on the world championship stage. That's it.
Well, listen, I want to be like a brolly boy for your team. I mean,
you can come and hold the brolly for us anytime.
I'm not gonna wear like booty shorts or nothing like that. But
I won't make you do that because I'm a big believer in you dress. You have to be dressed for the job you're doing, and if you're in the paddock, we don't need. You can be dressed for the job we're in. I'll give you a brolly. You're welcome to it.
I'll just like this. And I'll hold it over either Lizzie's or Mallory's head. I mean, I don't, it doesn't matter to me.
I can give you some lessons. It was my first job in motorsport.
I know. I remember that. I'll do it, and I know when to leave the paddock, and I'll give him a handshake or whatever, and I'll do my little job. But I'm serious. When I knew this was happening, I was like, you know what? And I've always said if comedy could have like a little break, have a season, and the summer would be the perfect season, have a break from comedy and come back in the fall. I would do that in a heartbeat and work for you. To work in a racing paddock, oh my God. I mean, there's three places I would love to be. That's a movie set, which I've been before. That's a comedy club, which I love. And to me, there's no other place than the paddock. Smelling that, just hearing the bikes rev up and the smell of that, the burning oil. I mean, that's where I want to be. There's three places I love being, and that's one of them. And also a pizza place. But those are three places I love being. I love pizza. But there's three places I love to be. So, yeah, I mean, I might fly over and be like, all right, I'll be the driver of the truck, whatever you need me to do. Polish the bikes up because I'm not good mechanical wise. I could polish the bikes up, give the girls a pep talk. I don't know. Whatever you need me to do, I'll do it.
Oh, we appreciate that. The door is always open.
Now, hey, are you have you talked to the Angeles team from Italy? Because I mean, what they did this year, it's understated. Aurora Angelucci, I love what she has been doing, and in Moto3. I mean, I think honestly, if Ivan Artola would have kept it up, I think he could have been top 3 in the championship. I think he could have won it. Uh-oh. Are you okay?
I'm so sorry. My dad's just like, no, I can't. You're here now. What's wrong? Tell me.
When you open the car door, tell the passenger side to open it.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Sorry, it's like...
Tell Dad I said bye. Tell Dad I said bye.
BT says bye to... BT, my friend that I'm doing an interview with. Bye. He says goodbye. Love you. Bye, Dad. So I don't actually live here. I don't live in Australia. It's 6:30 in the morning at the moment. I had the week between Malaysia and Qatar. I was like, I have to come and see my family. So that's why I'm here. Every time I speak to you, I'm in a different room.
Look what you do for me. The things you do for me. 6:30 in the morning. Only thing I would do at 6:30 in the morning is leave, because that means it's a drug raid. So I would go out the back. I would go out the back window. I'm not getting up at 6:30 in the morning for nobody. So it'd have to be the police, and I'm leaving. It's like, get that knock. Yeah, and then like, okay, I'm gone. So
anyway, back to your question. I mean, I didn't actually speak to the Angelus team, and I knew, but I did know quite early on that they weren't going to be in this championship. They solely have their focus where they are, and I think that's great. Again, I do feel in some senses that if you're established already, is this championship necessary? I mean, we now have a factory team and a single make championship, which I found to be quite interesting. But again, I think if you've already done the work to be somewhere else like Moto3, and you're working incredibly hard in your national championships as well, developing talented young riders, do you need to be here? And that's fine if you don't need to be. I think that's, Aurora's done a lot of work, and she's credible in her own right. And again, this is what I said in the beginning. This is a start not only for the riders, but for other people like me who can come in and shake things up a little bit. And that's how it should be viewed, I think. I don't think there's a problem with that at all.
I love Aurora's team. When I was in Silverstone, I already had her on the show, like I think a month before. So when I was in Silverstone, I went to their paddock, and I saw the girl with the glasses, the one that does, I don't know what she does to the team, I think with the tires or whatever. And she's always so serious looking. I go, is Aurora here? And she goes, follow me. And so I followed her, and she always has this serious look on her face. And she was busy working. I just asked her a question, and we went looking for Aurora, and she found Aurora for me. I said, thanks. And she went back to work. But she has this serious look on her face. And then I think she saw me leave that comment on her Instagram, and then now she follows me on Instagram. And she's so funny to me, because she's always so serious looking. She's always like this. And she works hard. And here I am going, hey, where's Aurora? I just want to say hi to her. And she stopped what she was doing, got up, and we went looking for Aurora. And to me, it just kills me, because she's so serious looking, and for me to get her to do that, it was, I felt almost bad, but we went and found her, and she's so cool. I love her. I just love that whole team, what they're doing. And also, I love the rider from Italy, also Denise Delzato, who raced in BSB. Is she going to be in the series? Do you know?
No, she isn't. But Denise is a friend of mine. I love Denise. She used to race with Jacob Hatch for Affinity Racing. So that's how I know Denise. We've had some good laughs over the years. She's brilliant as well. And like I said, I think this is year one. This is year one. Within 2 years of this championship, my riders shouldn't be here anymore. That's not a bad thing. And I'm not kicking them off my team by any means. And if we're winning championships, we'll see what happens. But the goal is, they have goals as well. There are places that they want to go. And if this is the start to get them there, then absolutely we'll take them there. This is what this is for.
You nailed it, because I remember I was talking to Reggie Jackson, not the name drop, but the baseball player, Hall of Fame baseball player. I happened to meet him in Monterey years ago, and he said it. He goes, when you're, in like the minors, he goes, you don't want to know where the best restaurants are. You don't want to know this. You want to be there. You want to be focused on what you got to do so you can get to the place where you want to get. And that's perfect. What you just said is perfect. You want to use it as a stepping stone. to get to where you want to get. But that being said, if let's just say your team wins a championship, and let's just say you become the most famous person in the paddock, will you be like a deadbeat dad and leave us for Formula One if Formula One came knocking? I mean, let's just say, we all know Christian, who is in trouble with, who. And let's just say, in a couple of years, let's just say Red Bull gets shaken up a little bit and they need a team principal. And you say your team is kicking ass, right? And they go, you know what? What would be more perfect for somebody to come in Formula One than a woman and win a championship? And we really would submit ourselves as being, a leader of the pack in that way. And they came to you knocking and they backed a truckload of money to your door. And they said, Maddi, would you be our Formula One team principal for Red Bull? Would you leave racing and be like a deadbeat dad and go, hey, see ya? Would you do that?
I think, right. I have a very long-term strategy with Sekhmet. I really, really do. I think in 12 months' time, people will be like, holy shit. I really do believe that. And I think that's happening much quicker than I ever anticipated it would. I had a very great phone call last night with a very great person in the industry who will be coming on board very soon. I would say just watch this space. I don't think I'd ever leave motorcycling at all. It's my home. It's my heart. It's the community that welcomed me back after all of my own hardships. It is the place that I feel safest. I don't think Red Bull's ever going to come knocking on my door, but you never know. You never know. I say that, but I mean, I'm confident in maybe some other people around.
You didn't say no. You didn't say no, Maddi. You didn't say no.
I don't think I see myself in Formula One. Our business, however, different kettle of fish. We breed talent. That's what we do. We're a talented business. You never know. You never know.
You always gotta leave the door open. Yeah, you know what? It never hurts to listen to a proposal, right? Never hurts.
No, well, I mean, look at Massimo Rivola. He's done it. He's been there, done that. Davide Brivio is another example of that. It's nice. You can bounce on and off from Formula One, but I personally, my heart and my life is in motorcycling.
I mean, we all love it, but like I said, man, if that truckload of money, it gets backed up to your house and you get
I'll make my own money.
Yeah, but you get life-changing money. I'm talking life-changing, the kind of money that people go, I make money, and then all of a sudden you see the money they're offering, you go, oh my God.
Well, my business partner worked in Formula One for like 30 years. He was working for McLaren as a CMO, and he's done a lot of work in Formula One. So I think, but actually our combined experience is perfect because I've got like the modern MotoGP era and he has the classic Formula One and MotoGP era. So together we've I think there's about 50 or 60 years of experience between us, which is just stunning. Obviously it's not majority me. It's all Botox, you see. I don't actually look like this, but no, I think between us there's an incredible amount of experience, and I love this. I love my project. This is my home. Sekhmet's my baby. This is what's important to me.
You have got to tell the people how the name came about. It's the greatest story ever. And it's just like, because I mean, honestly, when I saw it, I go, what's that? Is that racing? How do you pronounce this? And then you told the story. And I was like, oh my God. So please tell us the story and how you got the name.
Well, I'll tell you the true story, all right? Because I think it's far more reflective of who I am. Because let's keep in mind I am 28 years old as well, and I don't mind that. I have no problem with that.
Happy belated, by the way. It was just so happy belated. Yes. I made it through 27. 27 is objectively the hardest year of your 20s, I think.
But I was having a coffee with a friend of mine on the Isle of Man, and was all feeling a bit sorry for ourselves. It was like the Sunday after the senior. This is what happens, you finished all your racing and you go out and you celebrate with your friends. But I was actually feeling a bit sorry for myself for other reasons. I think I'd seen my friends have a really hard time of it. I'd seen teams come to a very important race completely underprepared, and putting riders at risk, which really, really bothered me. And I have no problem saying that. And I was having a coffee with my friend and I was like, I should start my own motorcycle racing team. I could do this, like just full of delusion, essentially. And Lama, she turned around and she said to me, "You remind me of this god named Sekhmet." And I was like, "Go on, tell me more," sipping my coffee away. And she was like the god of war, but also the protector of people. So we Googled her, and it turns out she's like born from the eye of Ra, the sun god. So she's born from this ball of fire. She is the god of war, but she's the protector of people. And the only way to calm this girl down in a fit of rage was to get her drunk, where she promptly went to sleep. And I thought about it as she laughed. She was like, "That sounds just like you." I was like, "That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny." Also very eerie. It was so like, if I ever have a team, this is what I'm going to call it from day one. That was all Lama's idea. And 2 weeks later, I found myself at Jerez where they announced the Women's World Championship. And I was like, red car theory, red car theory. This is it. This is how I start this. This is the chance I'm taking. And that's why we named the team Sekhmet, for that reason. And I think it's very personal. And I had somebody say to me, "People go through accidents and they stay quiet about it. Why can't you?" And I was like, "So you're literally telling people they can't be successful after coming back from a horrific thing happening to them. Please go elsewhere. This isn't for you."
Yes.
So that's why we named the team that. And if you know anything about my story, just briefly, I was in a fire that burnt 60% of my body. I had to learn to walk again and all of these horrific things. And I think it's our team and being a leader of our team. I'm so immensely proud of that I can bring that hardship and that determination into our team and sort of have it be the foundation of who we are and what we're doing. Because I am a leader now. That is what I have to do, and I want to lead my team to success.
Well, you, Mallory, and Lissy all have been on the Tales from a Gemini podcast, and so I think it should be Tales from a Gemini Racing also, like on a little bit of on just a little bit on maybe the Ass Tank or something like that. Maybe
I'll see what I can do.
Maybe I'll do a little sponsorship. Maybe I could. I don't know what I could buy of the team. Maybe the socks. I guess. Maybe I can afford that.
We can have sponsored socks. Look, we are creative, right? This is the thing about motorcycle racing. There's not a lot of real estate on the bike, right, but there's a hell of a lot we can do.
On the helmet, maybe get some stickers. Put a Tales from Gemini on the helmet and have me like this.
I'd like that, actually. That would be good.
How great would that be? And I could give you guys a little money here and there, and we're all on the podcast together, and we all do it through. Oh my gosh.
We'll talk.
The possibilities are unlimited. And then we go to Africa. I'll do the talking there. We go to Africa. I'll do the talking, and we can get some sponsorship there. Who knows? Maybe we have a Nigerian GP. We could do this. I mean, you never know. You never know. I do the talking. Trust me, I'll do the talking. And we can
I'll trust you with my baby.
Oh, we go to Africa. Okay, Maddie, I got this. Trust me. And we go in and bam, we bring GP back to Africa. What? Probably start in South Africa, obviously. And then they see how we're going. I'll do the talking bye. And next thing you know, we're on there, for at least 2 GPs? Come on, Maddie. Come on.
Well, I do agree. I think Africa is one place that needs a race, a World Superbike or a MotoGP race. I think South Africa is an obvious choice. We also have a South African rider in this championship now as well. Weirdly, no, not weirdly, I shouldn't say that, but Turkey came back up on the radar last week as a little passing rumor I heard at MotoGP in Malaysia last week. So I think I do think like MotoGP and World Superbike is in an interesting phase of its life at the moment. I think that they've gone through a bit of a decline in the last couple of years and they're on the up now. And I think what Dorna is actually doing is saying, actually, there's a massive difference between MotoGP and World Superbike, and we should market the differences between them. And that's exciting as well. That's exciting for our championships.
New track. I mean, like you said. I mean, I think is it MotoGP's going to? Is it you guys going to Hungary? Who's going to Hungary?
Yeah, that's my home race technically. Because my mum's Hungarian, so that's what I'm calling my home race. We're not going to Australia, so Hungary.
I can't wait to go to. I mean, I kind of want to go to Hungary because I hear they got great vegetarian spots there, and so I want to go to Hungary. And it's another country I've never been there before. Who knows? You never know. I might find a wife there. You never know.
I love Hungary. It's my favorite place, one of my favorite places, and it's the only family I have in Europe that's within reach of me. So I can't wait. They're excited to come along to the race too.
Oh, there you go. We're going. I'm going at least. So I got a friend in Hungary. I got two friends. You and Nikki. I got two friends in Hungary.
Yep, you have.
Now, what's the hardest part of this job that you didn't foresee? Like the hardest part, you go like, I didn't realize this part was going to be this difficult.
I think I don't know how to explain this. I love a challenge. I take challenges in my stride. I enjoy them. They keep me up at night. I occasionally have, small breakdowns about them, like anyone does.
Right.
But I embrace challenges. I love it. A challenge, if you want to motivate me, give me a challenge. I'm that kind of person. And I have to say, for our team, there were lots of little challenges simultaneously. So it felt like big challenges, but as we started to work through them, they were just sort of normal run-of-the-mill growing pains for the most part. I think what people always find challenging is always going to be things like sponsorship. We're still chipping away at our sponsorship as well. I mean, I'm quite calm about it. I think our product is a great product. I think what we're able to do with our sponsors goes beyond the standard of what is expected in motorsport, and that has a lot to do with our businesses and how we utilize them. I think that I'm really looking forward to going into the future with our sponsors. I think the hardest thing for me was actually having the idea of what our team was and our why in everything we do. And it's really easy to diverge from the pathway. But I'm really immensely proud that myself and my business partner have managed to stay on track with that. We are led by our values. We are here to win respect. We're here to have fun. We're here to challenge perceptions. And we do everything we do with a little bit of, laughter and a little bit of glitter, to be honest, because there's no rule book. And if there's a way of doing things, it doesn't mean that that's the way it should be done. And we go against the grain a little bit. And I can see why it's so easy to get off of that course.
Yeah.
But we stick with our compass. And I'm very proud of our ideals, our team, who we've employed, who's actually reached out to us to be involved because they also share the same ideals. And that's, when we're talking to brands, we want to talk to brands that think the way that we do. And we love that we're having those opportunities. So it's very easy to diverge, and it's very hard to say no to things that don't fit within your that don't really fit with your ideals. But we've done that. We've stayed the course, and it's been worth it, from our staff right through to our initial sponsors. So I'm very proud of that.
I cannot begin to commend you enough. I really look up to people like yourself, you, and like I said, Aurora and Milena. Milena is one of my favorites also. She goes, it goes without saying the work she does. She let me see how the sausage is made, so to speak, in Silverstone. I got to watch her work. And I watched her work a little bit beforehand when she was in Moto2 with when Dominique was on the team, and I watched inside the paddock what she does. It's unbelievable. I love the way she commands respect with that. It's a team, and it's just beautiful. You guys are there together, and you win together, and you cry together, and you laugh together, and that's what's so beautiful. People don't see that, but I've been there, and I saw, and I see that, and I see you being that way because you, like I said, you're a leader. Just by you as a person. I mean, if I didn't even know you and just watched you, I go, this woman right here is a go-getter. She's a doer. She really, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. If I didn't know you and I just watched you from afar, that's kind of creepy. But if I just watched you.
It's all right. People do it. It's fine. It's on Twitter too. Don't worry.
you know what I mean. I watch you from afar. I go, this person's a go-getter, and that's what you are. And it's beautiful to watch. And I cannot commend you enough for this series. I'm looking forward to it. Is there a place where people can go and see the whole rider list for the championship?
Yeah. So actually, if you go and have a look on our Instagram, it's in our tagged stories on our story list on our page. You can go and check it out on the World Superbike website, and it's on the FIM Live website as well. It is everywhere right now. It's on my Twitter page. Yeah, you can't miss it.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. I mean, I'm still like in a bit of shock about it, but I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it so much.
Now, what part are you leaving to the riders? Because there's going to be, and this is what I worry about if I was in your position. It's like, I feel like I'm a coach sometimes, but sometimes, and riders get in their own little, they have their own way of doing things because they're athletes, whether it's male, they're athletes. So like, how much are you going to leave it to the riders to, get themselves in shape, make sure they're in shape coming in, make sure they're in race shape?
We're currently just going through the motions of supporting them with that now. So that's things like acquiring motorcycles for them to train on. That's all sponsored gigs as well. I think, I work closely with Joe Barr, who's a world cyclist endurance champion, and his wife is a dietitian. So we're in constant contact as well. And I think, again, it comes back to this team was about creating opportunities and creating jobs and creating work. And that's what we're doing, right? And it's all contributing to our overall health and well-being. I definitely took a page out of Massimo Rivola's book when he brought on a team of personal doctors to his team for not only his riders, for his staff, because everybody matters in this championship. Everybody in this team matters to me. And we have a bigger year ahead of us than I think people are anticipating with just the Women's World Championship. Yeah. So we'll kind of need that headspace and that help as well. As for my riders, I think and my staff in general, right, with people like my marketing assistant and the riders, people need different things from their leaders. Sometimes they need the same thing in a different way. I know with Lizzie, I'm very direct because I have to be.
Yeah.
I know with Mallory, it's a bit different. I can have a longer kind of wine with Mallory, because we're probably in a different stage of our life. But it wasn't that long ago that I was Lizzie's age either, right? So it's interesting to be able to give people what they need when they need it. And ultimately, I think the other day when it went off, that this was happening, their social media, their phone, their emails was flooded, and I knew straight away. I was like, I'm going to have to check in here. Like, how are you doing? How are you feeling? And I think a lot of it is talking to them about just that, how they feel, because how they feel has a direct impact on how they perform. If you're not well, you don't perform well.
Right.
So for me, I think that's my job, is to always be connected with them and be clear with them and give them what they need as individuals, because they need the same thing, just sort of in different ways. And that's fine. That's my job as a manager, as a leader. I think, it's not any different to how my mentor used to manage me when I was working in the events business. He knew that I was, 10 or 15 years younger than everyone else in the team, and that I had a completely different way that I needed to be managed. And it's the same in our team for our riders and our staff.
You get that young energy. Sometimes it's weird. I mean, I don't know how it is in motorcycle racing, but in other sports, especially like, I grew up in wrestling and football, whatever. And it's like, you want to give them just enough, let have that aggressiveness, but reel them just enough in to where, man, that tiger's ready to strike. You know what I mean? That's what you want from your younger riders. You got to know when to let them attack, and when they're a little old. So the older, right, 20s, whatever, late 20s. I mean, they kind of figure it out. They know when to attack, when to on their own. You know what I mean? Where you don't have to baby them so much. So, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I was going to ask you also, was it crucial to you to get an American rider? Was that by choice, or was it just because?
It's funny. I have been criticized for not taking an Australian rider, which I understand why people would criticize me for that. However, I think when I think about my business, again, we're a global sport, we're a global business. That's how I think about my business. I definitely, America actually came up on my radar by way of Alexandra Caddy, through through Build, Train and Race in Moto America. And there were a few things that we were doing and looking at doing. And by one way or another, sort of Mallory came to me through a friend of a friend as well. And it just fit so nicely. The first time I spoke to Mallory, I liked her so much.
Yes.
I just really liked this human being that I was talking to. And for me, it just made sense. It really was a logical fit for our business, how we think, how we approach racing. Mallory's an incredibly intelligent human being as well. And I loved that passion, the fact that she's gone and done the university, she's gone and done the job. She's worked so hard to be a racer, even when odds were against her. And it made sense to me. I didn't really, the US is always on my radar as a market and somebody who works as a marketer.
Yeah.
But for me, Mallory was just the right fit. I think anyone in the United States would be incredibly proud to know that Mallory is flying the flag for them, because she is just an amazing ambassador to, show that you have potential to do anything in life. I think she is that to a T.
I think all the women in that the Ride Train Race program they're all like that. I love Mallory. I love what she's doing. And also I love Michaela Moore. Whenever she gets the opportunity, I like to see her on the world stage also. She's another bright, shining star. Man, she's uber talented also. So if you ever get a chance to have a 3-rider team or whatever, and you need
I think that, look, Michaela didn't go unnoticed by any means. But I think Michaela doing another year in the US isn't going to hurt her either. She's young and in a good way. She's fast. She's speedy. She wants to defend her title for sure. I'm sure of that. I think there's so much talent that can come out of the US that is there. And I think as teams, we need to be looking at that. Myself and other teams included in that list and in that profile there. And like I said, I have a great relationship with BTR. I really, really do. There's lots of different avenues and pathways that we're all interested in collaborating on. And it's not just a direct path to, the World Championship in World Superbike either. It's things like the CEV Moto2 Championship. There's lots of things there that I think people don't necessarily know about on the surface level, but are just as impactful as what we're doing now if you present it the right way.
Man, I'm so damn excited for just racing in period. I mean, like with all this new things come, like with the Ride Train Race with you guys, with the Bagger Series coming to COTA with MotoGP in conjunction with MotoGP. It's just, I'm just so excited right now. It's the greatest. And also, I mean, we got Supercross going on, and no one really talks about it because Supercross I think is the best it's been in years as far as the point titles going. So. It's just the greatest time to be a motorcycle racing fan. I just can't wait. I'm so excited. I really
Me too.
and honestly, from the bottom of my heart, man, this could not happen to a better person. I'm so happy for you and the team. And I know I'm putting you on the spot, but the top of the head, who do you see as the front runner for the championship already? Before a wheel is turned in anger, as Matt would say, who do you see as the front runner for the championship already?
Mallory Dobbs.
Think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We'll see. Don't get me wrong. But I have full faith in my team because I really do. I could say Anna Carrasco. I could say Beatrice maybe. I'm sure she'll be at the front. I mean, a factory supported team in this championship, a Yamaha championship will be interesting to see unfold. But I have confidence in my riders, and I think again, year one is always going to be a tough one. But I think they want to turn up and race. And, I said this, Mallory and I had this conversation last week. There's a 100% chance that anything can happen. And that's the reality.
It is in the back of your mind, it like, do you feel like, I hope it doesn't go bad. Like you guys don't look bad. You know what I mean? There's that you show up and it's the racing that you want it to be. But in the back of my mind, you're hoping like, okay, I hope this doesn't go wrong. And then people are going to point the finger and go, aha. Because always
100%. 100%. But also if people are talking about me, then do I have anything to worry about? Like, I'm not, this is the thing, right? It's year one. Nobody expected me to get this far, right? So if I get to the end of year one having minimal or reasonable success, I have nothing to complain about. I really don't. And I think I think this will be a competitive and challenging championship by all means. I really do. I think the talent there is diverse. I think it'll be interesting to see it unfold. I'm interested to see how those relationships off the grid unfold, because we're all in a shared space, and that'll be really interesting because you can't miss me when I walk in the room. I'm loud. So I'm looking forward to it. And again, this is what it's about. You've got to turn up and poke the bear, make the bear, and it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. And anything can happen. That's 100% correct. I don't know. At the end of the day, my job is done, right? When the riders are on the bike, I don't have to think about that's their job. My job is everything else. My job is to be their support system. My job is to make sure that they're healthy and they're fit. My job is to make sure that they're paid and looked after. All of my staff. And I hire people to worry about the other stuff. That ain't my job. That's not my job. I hire people who are good at what they do to handle that.
Man, Mal, I can't wait. I really can't. Can't wait for the first race. Can't wait to see you. Are you going to be in Portimao? You going to be in Portimao?
I will be. I will be in Portimao for MotoGP as well.
I will be. I'm in Portimao. Matter of fact, I think today I'm going to go ahead and get the my hotel and get my my car. What city should I stay in? Do you know? What city should I stay in?
I don't know. I always stay in the van. We camp. I have no idea.
Well, I know. Well, I've hit your husband up on direct message on Twitter. I don't know how many times, and I think he's like, "Look, goddamn it, just get a place." Just get a place. I know I got to be annoying the fuck out of him, but you know that's just what I do. So yeah, I'm so excited. I really am. I'm excited. I'm going to see you in Portimao, and who knows? Maybe I could sweet talk you into being the VP of, and just in case something happens to you, maybe you get maybe a cold or something. I can run the team for one race. I don't know. We'll see.
Cold one. Look, it burns. If I couldn't walk and that didn't stop me, a cold's not going to stop me either. But we'll see what happens. Well, I'll keep you posted. Just send your CV. And I'll have a look and see.
Miss Maddi Patterson, I love talking to you. It's like our third time talking. It never gets old. I learn new things with you. I learned the Colombian flu with you, and now I learned that you are a team principal. So it's like the greatest line in my journalistic career ever delivered. It was the remnants of a Colombian flu. Wow, I'll never forget that. I can't believe I published that. Well, hey, I learn something new every day. It's all because of you. I can't wait. Look forward to the team. Look forward to talking to Mallory. Thank you so much, Maddi. I mean it. I'm rooting for you. And I want some merch. Please. You will be the first to know when the merch drops. I want a t-shirt for me and a t-shirt for my producer, please. I mean, we're gonna rock. Right. We're gonna rock it. Okay. I'll put you on the list. A medium and a large. Please. So yeah. All right. I've got it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Maddi. Thank you so much. Good luck with the team. I'm BT saying thank you so much for watching Tales from a Gemini. You know the word. Peace.